The storm hit without warning. One moment, the skies above Neritha's village on the forested moon of Solora II were calm and gray. The next, they cracked open like a broken dam, pouring down a deluge so violent it felt as though the heavens themselves were angry. Winds howled like beasts and uprooted trees, tearing roofs from huts built by generations of her people. In a world known for gentle rains and steady seasons, the sudden fury was unnatural. Wrong. Nerith had no time to ponder why. Clutching her daughter to her chest, little Kyra, barely 5 seasons old, she fled through the swampy paths of her village as walls crumbled around them. The air tasted of metal and ozone. Somewhere, lightning struck a massive leaf fern, turning it into a roaring tower of fire, even as water poured from the sky. Others ran, too, dozens of villagers, wide-eyed and stumbling. But the path to the community shelter was narrow, winding, and soon became clogged. People pushed, tripped, screamed. Some vanished beneath the floodwater. Nerith slipped. Kyra's tiny hand tore free from her grip as the current dragged Nerith away. She surfaced once, sputtering, screamed her daughter's name, but wind and thunder swallowed the sound. She didn't remember how she reached dry ground, only that her legs were scraped, her body bruised, and her arms empty, and that her child was gone. The storm lasted half a day. By dawn, the forest was a different place. Trees stripped bare, mud where meadows had been, homes flattened. The village, once alive with color and music, now lay in broken silence. Nerith searched with cracked feet and a shattered heart. The others were too busy, rebuilding, mourning their own. She begged, pleaded, "Please, help me look for Kyra. She's only a child." No one came. Kyra was somewhere out there. Nerith could feel it the way only a mother could. She didn't rest. For 3 days, she combed the flood-drowned lowlands, waded through knee-deep water that stank of rot, called out until her voice went hoarse. Each night, she returned to a broken stump where their home used to be and curled up, shivering, alone. On the 4th morning, she collapsed. He found her then, a human. Nerith had never seen one up close before, only heard of them in stories. The strange, war-born species from the 3rd planet of Sol. Dangerous, curious, impossibly stubborn. When they first joined the Galactic Compact, everyone had been nervous. But humans proved themselves again and again. Brave, unpredictable, but kind. This one was tall, pale, with brown stubble and eyes the color of storm clouds. He wore a heavy jacket soaked with rain and mud-streaked boots. A makeshift scanner blinked on his wrist. He crouched beside her, speaking softly in Galactic Standard. "Hey, are you all right? You're bleeding." Nerith blinked up at him, dazed. "My child. I lost my child. Kyra. She's out there." The man's expression changed, not with pity, but focus. When, for days, he looked at the rising sun, lips pressed in a line. "Then we'd better hurry." His name was Mason. He had been part of a human relief mission stationed in a neighboring district, sent to provide emergency aid after the storm. Most hadn't dared come this far into the flood zone, but Mason had wandered farther, ignoring the bureaucratic maps. He trusted his instincts, and they had led him here. He gave Nerith water, a protein bar, bandaged her knee with gentle, practiced hands. Then he activated his drone, a spherical little bot with humming rotors, and programmed a search pattern. They moved together. For hours, they searched. At one point, they found a doll. Nerith's heart nearly burst, but it wasn't Kyra's. Mason said nothing, just placed a hand on her shoulder. As twilight descended, the drone let out a sharp ping. The child was wedged between the roots of a fallen sky willow, soaked, barely breathing. Her skin had gone pale lavender, and her fingers clutched a broken branch like a lifeline. But her eyes flickered open as Mason reached her, and Nerith let out a sob so raw it silenced the forest. Kyra, Mason handed the girl to her gently. She's dehydrated, cold, but alive. Nerith wept into her daughter's hair. Mason didn't rush them. He just stood nearby, watching as the wind tugged at his jacket. Then he spoke. You can't stay here. You both need shelter. Food. Treatment. She looked up. I have nothing left. He offered his hand. Then come with me. Mason lived alone in a human outpost deep in the Highland Ridges, an old prefab station left over from an earlier expedition. The place was run down but sturdy and, more importantly, dry. He had power, rations, medicine. Nerith was hesitant at first. Her people rarely ventured far from their forests. But the storm had taken everything. She had no home to return to, so she followed him. Days passed. Mason didn't speak much of his past, just that he used to be a combat medic in one of Earth's border wars. Too many dead kids, he said once, when Kyra asked why he always checked her temperature twice. Kyra recovered quickly under his care. She was quiet at first, clinging to Nerith, but she began to smile again, especially when Mason showed her how to use the scanner to make little glowing lights dance on the walls. He built a swing from salvaged ropes, repaired a broken heating panel so she wouldn't be cold at night. He even found a carved stone from her village in the mud and cleaned it, setting it beside her bed. Nerith didn't know what to make of him. He was kind but gruff, solitary but attentive. When she offered to help around the station, he gave her tools and taught her how to weld a broken frame. When she asked why he did all this, he simply said, because no one else did. Then, one night, during a cold rain, she found him outside under the awning, staring at the sky. You think I'm strange, don't you? He asked without turning. No, she said. I think you're what we needed. He smiled faintly. You know what we say on Earth? No one fights alone. I guess I still believe that. Weeks became months. Nerith began sending messages to surviving villagers. Some responded with surprise, a few with suspicion. You live with a human? She ignored them. She and Kyra helped Mason rebuild parts of the outpost. They planted food, purified water. The station became something more than a shelter. It became home. Kyra laughed again. So did Nerith. And Mason, sometimes. Then one morning, an envoy ship from the compact arrived, bringing supplies and officials. A diplomat approached Nerith with cautious politeness. We heard of your arrangement. Are you being kept here willingly? Nerith narrowed her eyes. You mean am I a prisoner? No. He saved us. You didn't. The envoy looked uncomfortable. It's unusual for your kind and his. I lost everything, Nerith said. He gave me back my daughter, a roof, a future. The diplomat tried again. There are relocation programs. She's not going. Mason's voice cut in, calm but hard. The two locked eyes, and in that moment, the envoy understood. This wasn't charity. It was family. A year later, Mason officially adopted Kyra under compact law. The paperwork was a headache, but he didn't mind. The girl called him in now. Nerith often caught him pretending not to smile when she did. By then, they'd built a second shelter beside the first. Half human prefab, half native architecture. People from nearby villages began visiting, curious, cautious, and slowly grateful. When storms came again, this time smaller, people knew where to run. The human outpost had become a haven. One night, as stars wheeled above the hills and firelight danced across the clearing, Nerith sat beside Mason on the porch, watching Kyra chase glowing insects with a net. She's happy, she said. She's safe, he replied. Nerith turned to him. You never told me why you really came so far from your station that day. He hesitated, then shrugged. Storms bring out the best or worst in people. I just hope to be useful. You were more than that, she said, and touched his hand. For once, Mason didn't pull away. He just held on.